If you think you can't grow fruit trees because you have a small backyard, I want you to get that thought right out of your head. So I have extremely limited space to work with, but yet I still have over 20 fruit trees growing in my small backyard. So like we have this fig that I'm going to plant today in a container. So in this video I'm going to show you how you can grow fruit trees in a small backyard by growing them in containers. So let's garden on. So step one with growing fruit trees in a container. So I'm going with these 25-gallon plastic containers. These were $12.99. Well, when it comes to growing most fruit trees, you want to go with at least a 15 to 20 gallon. So this is going to be really heavy to move. So I will need a dolly in the winter if I'm going to need to move anything that might need to be protected from frost. So just keep that in mind. If you go with something like 25 gallons, you will need a dolly and it will be more difficult to move. But most fruit trees will be able to be grown in a 15 to 20 gallon, especially if they're a dwarf tree. So to fill up these 25-gallon containers, I start with this 2 cubic foot bag of compost, and then I add some premium fruit tree soil mix from this company called Heirloom Soils. But you always want to add the less expensive stuff on the bottom. That way you save a little money. So this bag of compost was $4.99, and that fruit tree soil mix was $16. So I didn't even need to use the whole bag. I used about half of this bag, so about 1 cubic foot. So this first fruit tree that I'm planting today in this 25-gallon container is this bonfire peach tree. So this is a dwarf variety, mainly grown for ornamental reasons, as you can see with the flowers, but it does produce edible fruit. But that being said, this needs, I think, around 400 to 500 chill hours each year to produce fruit. So I can just leave it out. I know how to move it into the garage like some of the other trees I'm going to be planting today. So this is the fruit tree soil mix I use. It's peat free, has coco coir, mycorrhizae, leaf mold, compost, and other beneficial ingredients that are going to make my fruit trees thrive. I'll also make sure I list all the ingredients that are in this fruit tree mix so you can try to mix your own soil if you can't find something similar to this. So I like to fill the soil around the nursery pot. That way it makes the perfect hole for the tree, and you can try to get it as close to the middle as you possibly can. Probably not going to need this whole second bag, but probably like half of it. That was a little heavy. So this next tree is a tropical tree called starfruit. So I will need to protect this during winter by taking it into the garage when temperatures drop below 40 degrees. So this next tree is another tropical tree. This is a star apple. When you cut the fruit in half, it looks like a purple star. So that being said, this is the purple variety. There is another variety that I believe is green, but I got the purple variety. Break apart these roots a little bit. So the next fruit tree that I'm going to be planting today is this ruby fig. This is a dwarf variety fig tree. It's supposed to have like a berry-like taste, so I'm looking forward to tasting it. But I'm planting it in this whiskey barrel. I have one other fig tree in the whiskey barrel that's growing really well. So it practically broke through the bottom. So I don't mind if these roots end up going through the whiskey barrel and being in the ground. This tree will be outside year round. I can really smell this lime tree right here. It's flowering. It smells pretty good right now. Just going to prune some of this pomegranate to give my new fig tree a little sunlight and space so it's not overcrowded by this pomegranate. So a little change of plans. So instead of putting the ruby fig in this whiskey barrel, I'm going to put the Flanders fig, which I think will benefit more from being in the whiskey barrel. And then this ruby fig can go in one of those 25-gallon plastic containers. So this Flanders fig is supposed to be one of the best tasting figs that you can get. So I'm looking forward to tasting this fig too, but it's also supposed to produce fruit twice a year. So that should be pretty cool. All right, so I like to take advantage of every little bit of space I have in my small backyard. That's how I'm able to fit so much in a small space. So I'm gonna put that ruby fig over here in the corner in this 25-gallon plastic container. Since it is a dwarf tree, it will do better in this plastic container than that Flanders fig will do in here. At least with the whiskey barrel, the Flanders fig can break through the bottom and the roots can spread in the ground. So this is a little mango tree that I grew from seed from just a mango I had at the grocery store. And another thing I like to do is save the nursery pots I get from other plants. So I'm going to be repotting this mango plant into this pot right here. So I'm using the same soil as before for the other trees. So I've been growing this tree since last year. So I'm going to use this moss pole to support this young tree so it can grow straight up. All right, guys, so those are all the fruit trees I'm going to plant today. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a video where I show all the fruit trees I grow in my small backyard. But if you found any information in this video helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more gardening videos. Until the next time, I'll catch you on the flip side of the garden. Thanks for watching.